Elissa, thank you today for coming in to the SBDC to talk about your business and, more importantly, what you can let our viewers and let other potential entrepreneurs know about process, about the successes, about the challenges, about anything you have learned or experienced throughout your business career so far. So obviously, on behalf of all of us here at the SBDC, congratulations not only on Paw Order, congratulations not only being a woman-owned business, and congratulations for being the veteran-owned women's business last year for Western Pennsylvania. So thank you and welcome this morning.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So just talk to us a little bit about the business and just exactly what the overall operations is all about.
So my business is Paw Order Dog Training. We work with dogs of all sizes, breeds, temperaments, and we offer anywhere between classes, small classes like 4 to 8 max, all the way, and that's going to be manners classes, CGC, which is Canine Good Citizen. We do therapy dog classes. I'm the chair of the International Association of Canine Professionals.
Nice, congratulations.
For their therapy dog committee as well. And I'm actually offering movie dog classes too. So we're teaching dogs to do tricks and stuff, to be models and movie stars and that kind of thing as well.
So you have the capability of training what we call sometimes our bandit dogs into being like U.S. Marshals, correct?
Yes, absolutely, of course. So those are just classes. And then we have in-home, so we would come to your house, your environment, work your dogs in those environments. Sometimes that's the best for certain kinds of people and certain kinds of dogs, all the way up to board and train or stay and train, where you would give me your dog. I would train your dog and give them back and then work in your home environment to make sure everything transitions really well.
So tell me a little bit about the actual environment of the business, actual environment around the dog training, the education, and all of that. I think viewers might really like to know that.
Yeah, we have something that I feel like nobody else has. I might be bragging a little bit, but
okay. The owner can brag.
We have 22 acres. So every 2 years, me and my husband have outgrown our house or our property. We've been married for like 9 years. I think we've lived in 4 houses. So now we're on this beautiful property. We call it the Paw Order Paradise Ranch. And we have a horse and we have a donkey. We have peacocks, turkeys, chickens, ducks, 2 mini pigs, 2 micro cows, which everyone loves those stupid cows. Love them. We have cats. I have my 13 dogs, and my trainers get to bring their dogs to work. So we do not only obedience training, as anybody can go to PetSmart and just learn how to sit down, that kind of stuff. We take their dog from kindergarten the whole way up to college with us, because we'll teach them. We have the rehabilitation areas where it's like there's no distractions. We teach them what they want, and then we can build up. And we have the off-leash areas. I have large field socialization, which Saturday is actually our next one. And clients bring their dogs, and I teach them how to read body language. It's like our own safe dog park, but the owners aren't allowed to actually talk to their dogs or touch their dogs either. They can only watch and let the trainers handle what they need to handle. We have friendship days where they drop their dog off every first and third Tuesday, and we socialize their dogs with our dogs and our stay and train dogs. We have a beautiful classroom that we have different obstacles, stuff for scent work. We have, I have a VIP suite in my house. So I want to make sure that your dog's good with not only working just with me, but also with all of my trainers, multiple dogs. So you get the socialization aspect with people, dogs, and just novel sights and sounds, smells for the farm.
Yeah.
The first time they usually see one of those horses or whatever, the dogs are running, trying to get away, like they're terrified. And so your dog might not ever need to see a horse, but they need to learn how to be resilient with stress.
So like when my dog sees a truck and he goes berserk?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yep. So that kind of stuff. We have 4-wheelers. I had a dog that just graduated. They wanted to be a hunting dog, so you had to be good around loud noises or gunshots.
Right.
And the ATV. So we're able to really specialize what the client needs, and whatever their roles are, we enforce their roles.
Well, I encourage anybody that goes out into our website, because your testimonial is out there, and part of that testimonial is a lot of the visuals about the facility. And you began, I know last year, when you won the award. How long were you in business from that point?
11 years.
Okay. And I think you had said in a previous video or testimonial that took you that amount of time to maybe come to realize that the business might be growing faster
Yes.
than what you anticipated. How did you see the SBDC? How did you view the SBDC in terms of when that point in your decision-making process occurred to when we entered into the picture with you?
So I didn't really know I was going to say I don't really know I had a problem. It wasn't really a problem, but until something is shown to you, you don't really realize that you can do better.
Sure.
And I just started as myself. Things are really easy when it's just you.
Of course.
So easy, but also hard.
Right.
We can get into later of just the things that I would recommend for people to do ahead of time to do a little bit differently.
Well, please, you can go ahead.
I can do now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So you were saying that as a would-be entrepreneur, what would be some of the things that you didn't do when you started off that you're recommending to our viewers today they should consider? So by all means, please.
I hated answering phones. Hated it. I hate talking on the phone. I'd rather sit just face to face with somebody because you can feel the emotions. I can read that, and that's a lot of what my job is. So over the phone or through text message or email, you don't really get the tone of something. So
Correct.
I wanted somebody that really excelled in that could take my phone calls and my leads and get me in front of them. That's one thing I suggest anybody to do. If you're not good at that, hire somebody. Website. I'm not good at that. Hire somebody. I didn't have to hire someone. I have my husband, who's amazing, does all my marketing and that kind of stuff as well.
Okay.
But that's not my specialty. My specialty is to sit in front of a person and a dog and help that person. I got into it because I really wanted to help people. I was military police prior to that.
Yes.
I went to college for corporate and homeland security, criminal justice degree, and a leadership minor. And I got hired by the FBI right out of college and decided not to do it. Wow. And I went, I really like helping people, but maybe not in this capacity. There's a different thing, and I don't like being told what to do.
Oh, you mean like that's why you're an entrepreneur?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. So I have a hard time working for somebody else, and I thought that was a flaw for the longest time. And I think people getting into, deciding what they want to do with their future is not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur.
Correct. And often we say there's certainly nothing wrong with collecting a paycheck.
Absolutely.
Absolutely nothing. I mean, I often tell individuals that, I interact with, I collected a paycheck for almost 28 years. And, and then when I made the decision to go into owning my own business, right? So I say to people, hey, you have to be ready. You have to be ready. There's nothing wrong with being employed. And understand the difference, though, between the risks of going on your own. Often I use the expression is, look at your employer's pay stub. You're now going to become that.
Yeah.
Are you ready for that?
Right.
Would you agree that that's an accurate statement?
Absolutely. I have, and as a small business, people think, you're the CEO, you're making all this money. I work 7 days a week, and I think people need to be prepared to hear that. It's not, okay, I'm my own boss. Even 11 years in, every year I'm like, next year is going to be the year I'll have free time. But then my entrepreneurial brain is like, no, you got to do more next year. So then I could keep expanding, which kind of pulls me back in. I got to get everything cleaned up and organized, and then my brain doesn't want to stay small.
How has how is the SBDC? I know you've been working with this now for several years, but what have been some of the major points along the way where you have found the SBDC to be resourceful to you?
They've really helped me become organized. We sat down with most of my high-level employees and had sticky notes and ideas and up on the wall on the board, and that really helped bring it together and bring the team together too. So it wasn't just me making decisions for everybody else. I was able to bring my team in and see, how can we actually make the business better? And it's not always, okay, what's going to make the most profit? Now, for some business, if that's what you want, absolutely.
Sure.
But you have to sit down as a business and think, what do we need? What are my values, and how can we get there? And having the Small Business Association help us was very valuable to us.
Good, good. Did we help you at all with your cash flow and those kinds of things? Because I know I always try to stress that's so important, especially well, it's always important, but especially in your first several years of development, to really become disciplined, to be looking at that almost, I often say, on a daily, but at least a weekly basis.
Yeah. Well, most of business, you have to make money. That's the part of it. So you want to be able to look at that, and you just being organized in general and being focused can help you in every aspect of financial stuff with the business, making more money. You have to be able to sort things out and organize, and you fix this thing here, more money, fix this thing here, more money, and it just keeps going. And you have to, and even like with a budget, right. I didn't do anything with a budget. That's still, I have help with that kind of stuff because that's it's above my pay grade. I'm just a simple dog trainer. But you guys actually really helped come in and help us figure out like how much money do we need for certain things to stay successful.
Well, I appreciate that. I think one of our job, I often say to the consulting staff and myself, because I do consulting as well, is at the end of the day, our job is to help our clients make informed decisions. I'm not your boss. I can't tell you. I can advise you. And I've had many clients who sometimes don't take that advice, which is okay. But we're here to say, look, if at the end of the day, our clients can say to us, you've helped us to make an informed decision or decisions about our business, then I think we're, in fact, accomplishing what I believe is the mission here at the Duquesne, SBDC.
Yes, I think everybody should give it a shot. They should try it because you don't know what you're missing until you try something else or you get
when you look at where the business is today, what would you say would be 2 or 3 of your greatest successes as you sit back now and say, these are several of the things I think, boy, we really did good at?
Okay, so I'd say growing the business at a rate that kept the business successful. Let me explain that.
Go ahead, sure,
So,
by all means.
I started just in the Pittsburgh area, and now
Right.
we do have multiple locations nationwide. We have multiple in Pennsylvania, we have Ohio, Texas, North Carolina.
May I just jump in
Yes.
to there? Have you franchised it?
We did.
You did franchise it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but I pulled it back. So I'm not offering franchises anymore
Okay.
because I was reaching the wrong people. And I feel like a lot of people...
I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, a lot of people think, I want to be a dog trainer and I want to work with dogs. That's usually where people go. Usually they do it because they don't want to work with people. And I have found that this is one of the most challenging jobs. In order to be good at it, you have to be, no matter if you're the owner of the company or you work for me, you have to be hungry for it. And I can train. We have an academy for dog trainers. I've sent trainers through the academy. And you get the people that either just in it for the money, because the pet industry is huge, or they learn what I teach them and then think that's it. I'm still learning. Every year, I'm constantly learning. I go to seminars. You see me, if I'm on my phone, I'm scrolling, even if it's through Facebook, it's dog stuff. I'm constantly trying to get better and better and better. And I was attracting some people that didn't have the same values as me.
Okay. So you're saying so would it be fair to say that one of the things that I look for when I'm working with a client who's thinking about making the business go franchise, I usually say to them, I think you and I are on the same page, so you can tell me yes or no, but I'll usually say to the owner, look, you've got a lot of vetting to do, because some people that go into franchises either are looking to make some quick money, which again, you're not going to get rich in a franchise unless you own 100 of them. And I try to say that, you've got to, if you want your legacy and your reputation to be stellar, then that's a huge part of the due diligence process. Would you agree or challenge that?
No, I agree. Absolutely. Because I was excited. I was like, oh man, we're going to sell some franchises and then we have residual income, because that was the plan. I was like, this is my retirement.
Yeah.
And I had a couple bad eggs and in a row, and I went, I'm done. And I've terminated certain franchises.
So basically now, if you were, say, with using a different avenue of franchise, would you like help somebody else? Like, how would you say the next move would be, absent of your obviously bad experience with the franchise?
I'd say, if I'm answering this correctly,
Yeah,
I would
sure.
rather.
There's no incorrect answer,
Okay.
by the way.
So I still, if somebody comes to me and they're like, I really want to do this. Like I have a current trainer of mine that eventually her goal is to own a franchise. And I would say absolutely, because she's
Okay.
trained with me for years and years,
See.
and I know her. I
Yeah,
know her
see.
personality,
Right.
and she's going to have. It's not just she goes through the school and then all of a sudden you're a dog
Okay.
trainer. She's been training for a very long time. I trust her.
Okay.
That's the key.
So basically you're saying because of the legacy and the reputation of your business, you're not going to put that at risk in any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
And I think that's a really good point. And I didn't want to jump into franchises, but we get so many questions about them, and actually hearing from an entrepreneur who went down that route. And as you've said today, here's some of the things that a franchisee or franchisor should be very careful of if they're thinking of franchising. If you had the magic wand and you were king or queen of the day, if you had the magic wand, what today would you have done different?
I might have gotten a little more help organizing in the beginning with professionals who knew what they were doing. Not
Like the SBDC?
great, yeah. Hey, year one, that would have been amazing. Right? Even just simple things like taxes when it was just me.
See,
Things were
right.
much simpler when it was just me, but I also, that year, a couple years in, I had one accountant. And then I got bigger, was switched to another accountant, and they're like, that accountant did everything wrong. And I'm like, oh
See.
my gosh. So
Well,
everything had to be
So you
redone.
raise a very good point. We have a series of people in our network. So we have accountants and lawyers. We have the pro bono legal service. We have accountants. We have an accountant as a executive in residence here in the SBDC, insurance brokers. So I tell all the clients, these are don't think you can do it all. I did. When I started my business, I was so afraid to borrow from my line of credit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to do everything, thinking, well, I own a healthcare consultancy. Isn't my job creating clients? And until I got to that point where I realized I've got to spend money to make money. And then not all accountants are the same. The accountant that does your home taxes is not a business accountant.
Yep.
The insurance broker that's going to sell you business insurance is not the same broker that sells you healthcare insurance. And going down that learning curve. And that's what we attempt to do with our entrepreneurs. You don't have to be out there alone. These are all services and resources that we can, provide. So, and I'm hoping in this case, we were able to do the same for you in our current relationship.
Absolutely. We used a lot of those different services. Even if we already had some things in place, it doesn't mean you think you think you're doing it right. Sometimes it's nice to go look like, oh, maybe let's change this here and here and here.
How was the consulting experience here?
Very good. Yeah, we had Dennis. Dennis actually came out to us, which was really good because we're constantly busy.
Yes.
And to get all the employees that I want involved. Because
Yeah.
the thing with me is I value my employees. Again, I think that's huge too.
That's huge.
I want them to be loyal. I'm loyal to them. I don't treat them any different just because I'm the boss. I don't want to be treated any different because I'm the boss. And it gets them to stay here. So I wanted their input, and Dennis let them join. So he had to sit down with a bunch of us dog trainers and button heads on some things and
Sure.
just kind of making headway along the way.
Right.
And you guys were really good and flexible with us, with our business needs, and never judged either.
No, well, of course not. Of course not. As I said, I always say to the clients, we're not your boss. You've come here because I hope that you've come here with the understanding that we're here to help you. We're going to give you information. We're going to give you advice, but you do with it what you think is best.
It's probably the best way to go with an entrepreneur too, because if you tell them what to do, they're like, I'm not doing it.
Right. And I just said, if you want to, our job is to make you
Yeah.
successful and to be able to have not only the core consulting services available, but also what we call the value-added services. And I know you've experienced those. So in closing, what would you say, like if you have an opportunity to talk to existing business owners, would-be entrepreneurs, those who are thinking about retiring or selling their business, what would you like to impart upon the audience today as we close this podcast?
I would say whatever your business is, if you're proud of it, you'll go really far with it. So I'm not in business. This might just be me, it might not be everybody, but I really, really enjoy what I do. And I pour my heart and soul into the company because of that. And that is a deciding factor for everything we do. How organized we are, how I pick my employees or franchisees or different locations. And maybe word of advice as well. Because one thing I've just learned lately, this is my identity. Right now, I don't suggest that for everybody because it's extremely stressful. So I say, get a hobby. Other than like dogs. I have 13 dogs, lots of animals.
You own 13 dogs?
We own 13 personal dogs, yes. But so dogs are my life. And
can I be honest with you?
Sure.
They're kind of like my life too.
Yeah?
I don't have 13. I'm trying to manage one bandit, okay? His name is Blaze, but when he acts up, I call him Bandit.
That's Bandit Blaze. I like it. I'm the girl that has the king-size bed and the queen attached to the king-size bed, so they can all sleep in bed with me. So you'll see a lot of dog trainers, too, that are like, you have to be so strict. I'm like, we're going to be strict when we need to, but I don't care.
I tried.
People look at me.
I tried the crate.
Like, I'll walk in. You tried the crate. People, I walk into your house.
He goes in the crate, but not like.
That's okay. I said, walk in your house, and some people are like, yeah, I don't make them stay in a crate. I'm like, I don't care. Are you having any issues? If you're not, cool. I don't care. You know? And so it's a problem. It's only a problem if it's a problem for you. You want to walk your dog past other dogs. If you don't care that he's barking and going nuts, then you're probably not going to call me. But I'm big on changing people's lives. So not only a dog trainer, but you kind of have to be a therapist as well. Because most of it's me training you to even see certain things that you're not able to see.
Right.
You know, and once you get past that, you can do so many things. We bought an RV so we could take all of our dogs places. They're all off leash. They're all well behaved. And we can do so many cool things that most pet owners can't even imagine right now. They don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. We can take like the worst trained dog and bring them up into just these massive changes that are life-changing. That's what I do it for. I want to be able to help people.
Well, you sound very passionate.
I am very passionate.
Would you say that is a requisite requirement in any entrepreneur? How would you speak to that passion?
Absolutely. I mentioned before, you work 7 days a week. Even if you think you have a day off, you don't. Last week, I was like, I'm taking Tuesday off or Monday off. And I still had a puppy in the house, little Boston Terrier puppy. And my friend's parents' puppy, because they were struggling. So I picked him up, brought him over to my house. I still work in them. Didn't have any clients that day, but I still was doing something. Or I'm in the chats with the employees and checking in on the stay-and-train dogs, checking emails. I'm still always doing something. You have to be passionate or you'll burn out. You still will probably burn out anyway.
But at the end of the day, you own it.
Yes.
And that's what I tell entrepreneurs.
Yes.
You could have the most loyal staff and you could have the greatest staff, but at the end of the day, it's the leader that the buck stops.
100%.
With the leader, with the owner. Well, listen, thank you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for being such a great client for the SBDC and for the community of dog lovers. And we wish you nothing but the best of success.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.